welcome to the show again. We are back with our weekend recap for this week, and we'll start off talking about the Premier League. This game week, or should I say game day, all the games happened on the same day because it was the last day, and it was such a tough job to follow all the games. And I think we'll start talking about the Leicester versus Tottenham game because it had implications for other teams as well. So before the game started, Chelsea were third, Liverpool were fourth, and Leicester were fifth. Liverpool and Leicester were on the same points, but Liverpool were on fourth because of goal difference. But I think we all know what to expect from Leicester City because they have become serial choke dogs, just like South Africa in cricket. And the game was poor, shabby from Leicester to say the least. There was an own goal by the famed keeper. Vardy got 2 penalties and he converted, but then you let an own goal go, and then Gareth Bale came and showed why he's a Real Madrid player and why they bought him for so much money. It was throughout, I had to have 4 devices to watch the games. Every game they were talking about, oh Leicester this is happening, oh Leicester this is happening, oh Leicester this is happening. I'm like, what is happening there? And I actually stopped watching the Liverpool game for a while and I'm like, let's switch there. It was shabby on so many levels. When they knew they had so much to lose, they should have been putting in a better show. But Tottenham also were playing for survival because they wanted to get into Europe, no matter even if it's the Conference League or whatever. But they wanted to get in and they fought for it, because if Tottenham were to lose and Leicester were to win, judging by what was happening in the Liverpool game, which we'll come to later on, Leicester would have gone and Liverpool would have gone and Chelsea would have crashed out because Chelsea were losing. That's another thing again. And if Tottenham had lost, Arsenal would have made it to the Conference League and Tottenham would have missed out. So it was such a weird equation and everyone was playing their heart out and you could see that. But the Villa game, I must say Chelsea looked a bit off. I'm not saying Villa completely outplayed them or dominated them, but Chelsea didn't look their usual best. I don't understand what is happening there. Yes, they did have a lot of possession. Yes, they were trying to control the game, but it did not look very convincing according to me. And what was the other important game? Arsenal won, so Tottenham had to win. So Tottenham had to win, and Man United also put in a convincing show. And the Liverpool game, Liverpool won 2-0, and that's how they climbed to third. And congratulations to Klopp, because I kept hitting hard on him because I actually kept saying that he has to buck up, and the last 10 games I think they did not lose. So all credit to them for not losing at all and trying to make it there, and they made it. But I think special mention to Man City, because even though they had the league wrapped up, they were playing at home and they played like they meant it, and they won final, and they bid farewell to their club legend and a Premier League legend in Sergio Aguero, who came on as a sub and scored 2 goals, which is wild if you think about it. And
25 minutes.
He was subbed.
He just played for 25 minutes.
65 or something, and then he scored 2 goals.
I thought, at first I was actually what are they thinking? You already sealed the match, you won the league, just give the guy full game. He was just closing on this record of scoring the most goals for one club in the Premier League. He just needed 2 goals or something to break the record. He was so close, and I'm like, why are you not putting in? And then they just subbed him on, and I thought maybe it's too late, 2 goals and all, but he went on and scored 2 goals. And what a way to end his career in the Premier League.
So I think that brings an end to our Premier League because there's nothing else to talk about. But like I said, it was such a weird day because everything that everybody did affected somebody else. Other than City and United, everybody else was fighting for their dear lives. And so I'll just go through who is going to make it where. So the top 4 are Man City, United, Liverpool and Chelsea. So these people are going to the Champions League, not the Europa League. So Leicester and West Ham are going to the Europa League. I don't know how I missed talking about them, but West Ham deserves so much credit. David Moyes, I don't like him and I don't think that he has done a good job, but this season, oh my god, they have fought so much. They went from being a mid-table side or lower table side to finishing in the Europa League spots, and whatever Tottenham did, it didn't affect them at all. So so these are the 6 teams that make it to Europe, and I think Tottenham goes to the Conference League. And the teams that are relegated are obviously Sheffield, West Brom and Fulham, and I think Big Sam is also leaving West Brom, so that's something of note. What are we talking about next, Jithu?
Nothing else I think is there. I think so. And yeah, and one more big point is that like Tottenham again finished over Arsenal again. I think so. It looked like that streak was going to end or something. Tottenham fans are like so proud of this thing. Like we finished above Arsenal for the last years, and they've done it again also. They just picked Arsenal. Arsenal were like almost sure. Like you look at towards the 70, like even if it was a draw also. I mean, Leicester will be out and Tottenham will also be out of the draw. So Arsenal fans thought maybe Leicester will hold on to the draw and they'll get in the Conference League. And yeah, I think Arsenal had some record for qualifying for European football for at least some consecutive years or something like that. I'm not sure how many years, but I think that record got broken now. I think so since they are out of any European competition, including the Conference League. Yeah.
One more thing that we have to put into perspective is Harry Kane won the Golden Boot and he also had the most assists. So that's a mad thing to do. And how is a team that has a player like that who has the most assists and the most goals not doing jack shit? I don't understand. They are like, these are teams that are serial underachievers. Like Leicester City were playing well, but then they're like bottled. Tottenham, no, they have never really lived up to their potential. They are like Everton or something. Like I'm not saying Ancelotti is a bad manager and all, but they're like, you should be doing better than you are with the team you have.
See,
with the style
Leicester, we can give them I think some more time because they just came 5 years into the they started consistently like staying in the Premier League since last like 5 years or something, ever since they got promoted 5 or 6 years back. But these teams, Everton and Tottenham, are coming every year in, year out, spending lots of money, but not able to do it. This year also, Everton spent shitloads of money and still they couldn't qualify for at least the Conference League. So that's a bit underwhelming. And also from Tottenham's side, it's not saying they don't have quality. They definitely have a lot of quality players and they definitely have the quality to make it at least in the top 6.
And the thing that they keep saying, the big 6 of the Premier League, big 6 of the Premier League. Where are the big 6? These 4 teams consistently make it into the Champions League. So that's a different issue. But Tottenham and Arsenal, they have been underperforming since Jesus was born or something. I don't know why. Like, it's not like they're not having money. It's not like their managers are shit. There is no problem in that aspect. So is the problem with their recruitment strategy? I don't understand, but they have to start sorting this out because they may say it's the big 6, but it honestly doesn't exist. Leicester seem like a more consistent team than Tottenham or Everton or Arsenal or anybody. Even Leeds United, who just made it back into the PM this year, have finished higher than Everton. That is... I don't understand. Let's start talking about another league now.
Yeah.
So next league,
Yeah,
Jithu?
let's move on. Yeah, I'll talk about the Bundesliga. So basically, I think the top 4 race was done. The Europa League places were also done. So it was sort of a relegation battle and a spot in the Conference League. So the main focus, I think of course, we'll come to Lewandowski later. So main focus is like Union Berlin versus RB Leipzig. So Union Berlin, I think they just came into the Bundesliga. It's their their second season or something, and they are surprising everyone again and again. See, this is a club that is like built by fans. Their stadium was built by the money shared by fans. You have to meet a certain standards of stadium to play in the Bundesliga, and they were like, some teams are underperforming. This team is like overperforming. Like they had only one ambition last match day. They had to beat Leipzig. They can qualify for the Conference League. The first time the team is qualifying for European competition. And although RB Leipzig is also an East German side, like if you go on to the traditional side, Union Berlin are the traditional East German side that has qualified for European competition since I can remember. It's been a huge long time before. Yeah. So, and who else? The match was very even. Obviously Leipzig have been down for the last I don't know what is wrong going Is it because of players leaving, manager leaving? Many, I don't know. They were just not confident enough, and yeah, they were actually one goal up. Okay, in the first half it was 0-0. They were actually one goal up. Justin Clivert. Then they just needed to hold on to the. I know they qualified for the Champions League. Second place is assured for them, but still finish the season on a high. That's a great thing to do actually. And they don't know. They just lost intent, but Union had this intent. They pushed, and at the very last moment, 90+2, Max Kruse with a brilliant goal. Both the goals are brilliant. You should watch the highlights. The goals were brilliant, and Max Kruse, he has been the star performer. I don't know if you should guys follow him. Like, he is the star performer, and what a way to send them into Europe. Yeah, I think I've said so much. I think because I was watching this game, I couldn't watch it live because all the games were in the same time, so I had to watch the replay. So I watched the entire replay. Yeah, and yeah. Moving on, see, the another match was what do you call Wolfsburg versus Mainz. Yeah, so Wolfsburg, they were sitting in second position, and they just needed, I think, they needed a win at Mainz to secure the second position. But Mainz, I don't know, they continues this brilliant form. Of course, they lost to Dortmund last week, but they're continuing this reputation of giant killers, killing all the teams in the top 6, top 7, and all. They continued that. And yeah, so that may ensure that Dortmund's win over Leverkusen puts them in third position. So that's actually a big achievement, a big resurgence for them. And yeah, so the teams like Werder Bremen, yeah, so moving on to that. So Werder Bremen and Cologne were battling out for the last relegation spot, who's going to get relegated. So Werder Bremen needed Schalke to beat Cologne, and they have to win their own match. But Cologne, I don't know, they Schalke, they beat Schalke, and yeah, they managed to somehow half stay, they are currently in the 16th position, which is actually the relegation playoff position. So that means they'll play the third place team from the Bundesliga to decide who's going to stay and who's going to leave. But yeah, Werder, I don't know, it has been disappointing all season. I don't know, from the start itself. I know they don't have huge financial backing, all those stuff and all, but still there are many other clubs in the league. You can look at the example of Union Berlin. They also don't have any financial backing. And what I can say from the start of the season, it's like a poor squad selection, everything that led to their downfall. I'm telling this is like a historic style. Mesut Ozil used to play for this team. This team used to play 10 years back. They used to be in the top 4. Both these teams, Schalke, Werder Bremen, and all in the top 4. And it's really sad. After 40 years, they finally got relegated. Yeah. Anything else you want to add on?
Nah, I don't watch all the games. I just watch the Bayern or Dortmund or Leipzig games. That's all. But I wanted to.
I think.
Yeah, you have to talk about Leipzig.
Do the Bayern game. I missed it out.
Yeah, the Bayern game. Yeah, please talk about it.
No, you tell. It's okay.
I know that game was not of grave consequences and all. But
yeah.
Bayern are never a team to take it lightly, and they came out and they started battering them from the get-go. It didn't look like like a game that was sealed or where they should have taken it easily. Obviously, yeah, they were bidding farewell to club legends and their manager, who's also a club legend now. And they wanted to give them a good send-off, and it showed with the intensity they were playing with from the get-go. God, it was good to watch. I don't usually say that, but it was very good to watch. And I watched the ceremony also afterwards, where they were Neuer let the people who were leaving lift the trophy up. So it was a good gesture. It was a good game to watch. And if you're not watching football, I think at least now is a good time to start watching football, because everything is getting more and more interesting, because all teams are now getting more and more even. It's not like before that only Real Madrid were dominating everyone or Manchester United were dominating everyone. all teams across so many leagues are becoming more consistent. Even Bayern, last season, I would not have said that like this year they won't win the Champions League. I would have, with my eyes closed, I could have said that Bayern would have won the Champions League. But now, like as you can see, not
Yeah.
only they crash out, but they're losing players, and it's like that is the most beautiful thing about like club football, association football, is how players move on, how these people try to make the best of what comes to them, and it was a beautiful gesture of them trying to do their best, even though they had everything, to give a good farewell to everybody else. Yeah, Jittu.
Yeah, so yeah, I think it was quite, as a Bayern fan, it was an emotional game. I think many people were leaving, lots of familiar faces. Like, I grew up watching all these people, and suddenly they're leaving, especially David Alaba. I think when I started watching Bayern, I think he was like this player coming from academy, 16, 17 years old, and like you've seen everything, him growing up, this entire phase of him growing up, and I don't know. I know it's like some Bayern fans are pissed off at him because he's going because he wants higher wages, stuff like that. And yeah, but still, he's still from our academy, so it's quite emotional. And yeah, I don't know how I managed to hold back some tears after that game. Yeah, we'll just move on. I think I'm getting too much.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so no other game, I think, rest.
we always
Yeah,
have to talk
tell
about
me.
Leipzig every time we talk about the Bundesliga, because they are a very interesting
Yeah.
team. Like Red Bull in general is a very interesting company, dominating Formula One, dominating wherever the smaller leagues that they play football in. And Leipzig is a very good story because they rose from like the lowest division and they made it up. And they spend, like they make interesting signings, then they sell them off for a profit, all of that. But if you see the gulf in quality, like they were playing pretty decent football throughout the season, but towards the end, no, they had a slump. Like if I can compare them to anyone, I think the most accurate comparison is again Leicester City. They had like an alarming slump in the last, I don't know, 5-6 games. Still, they might have lost like 3 times or something. And like for a team that is technically supposed to be pushing the big team, Bayern and like Dortmund, if Dortmund eventually picks up, they did not seem to be like that, especially in the end of the season. And it's not like they were in the, what should I say, a UCL final or something of like massive consequence, other than maybe the Pokal, that they had to like I don't know, it showed like a steep drop off, maybe in their concentration, maybe in their work ethic. I don't know why. I understand that, yeah, your manager is leaving again, but I don't know, if your manager is leaving, you should try your best to give him a good farewell, to try your best to win and all. This does not, I don't know, but yeah, we should keep looking at Leipzig to see what they're doing. But yeah, Dortmund, no, they played like Dortmund of old, and they finally managed to make it into the top three. And I think I can move on to the next
Yeah.
league.
Yeah. So what else?
Serie A.
Yeah. Serie A. Yes, Serie A. So Serie A was another league, like sort of like the Premier League. Yeah, we can like there was intense fight going on for 2 Champions League slots, and it was, I guess, what do you say? Most of us thought that Juventus will crash out. I think it was obvious because their result, even if they win also, it's not under their hand. Napoli had a genuinely easy opponent, and the only chance we thought was maybe if Atalanta beat Milan. But the turn of events is quite surprising. So moving on, like excluding like the usual games, I think Inter finished the season with style, beating Udinese 5-1. I think they have the highest point tally of any club in all the top 5 leagues. They're the only team to cross 90 points. So good season to them, brilliant season to them, and yeah. So moving on to the crucial game. So Atalanta v Milan, Bologna v Juventus, and Hellas Verona v what do you call Napoli. So those were the 3 games. I was watching these games side by side. I'll like switch one channel, the next channel. It is like you can't switch in between. So I was primarily watching the Milan game because I thought it is going to be the decider one, and the game was actually Milan. You look at the score line, it's absolutely flattering because that's not what happened in the game. Atalanta dominated everything, every aspect of the game, but they just couldn't get through Milan's defense. And Milan's defense has been their best asset in this year's Serie A, and they showed them why. Yeah, and they were like they just couldn't get through. Atalanta tried, and yeah, but eventually Milan, I think, Both their goals were penalties, and I think their counter-attacking style worked sort of. And Frank Casey, people were scared. Like, and the first penalty was given to him because he had missed his last penalty. People were scared, oh, he might bottle it, but he was cool. I think he scored like 43rd minute. They scored the penalty, and Milan were, I think, holding on. Like, it was intense until and like the second goal was scored, 90 plus third. I think, obviously again Frank Casey, like it was very tension. Like, whoever is watching, because at one point it was like Milan 1-0 lead. Napoli were leading 1-0 in Verona, and Juventus were, obviously they were dominating 4-1. Like, we'll come to that, yeah. And we thought, will Milan bottle it? But they managed to hold on, and last, I think, injury time, they got a penalty and they sealed it. So much happiness. They're returning back since 2014. That's a huge time since they played in the Champions League, yeah. And Napoli. Napoli is like the Leicester City in...
SERIE.
It's even worse. I don't know how they managed to do it. Do you have anything to add?
No, like every league has this team of bottlers. No, like I don't know, like how they have these team drop-offs. Maybe towards the end of the season they might experience fatigue and all. But teams like Napoli, which have so much to lose, should not be doing that, because if they had won, Juve would be out of the CL. I'm not saying that I was waiting for that to happen or something, but it would have been very interesting to watch if big clubs like that didn't make it. It's like Arsenal not playing in Europe. It's like Liverpool having to play Europa. I'm not saying I wanted Liverpool to play in the Europa, but if that would have happened, it's not like something bad happened or something. They deserved it because they didn't play to their optimal level. And Napoli, like the stakes were so high, they should have been playing better.
It was in their hands. It was in their hands. They just needed to win, like match whatever Juventus was putting in. And Milan also had to do that. Milan did that. Napoli also and they got the easiest of the opponent. Maybe Juventus got an easier opponent, but they got an easier opponent than Milan. Verona, and they were leading. I think close to 70 odd minutes. I'm not sure. So then they just had to defend, but they didn't defend. I don't know. It's simple as that. They didn't defend. They got a goal in 60th minute. They just needed to just hold on for 30 minutes. Defend properly. This team is not going to be that lethal unless they... But I don't know what happened. Then they just kept on trying. Verona held on. And they're out. I don't know. I think they'll be hugely disappointed, and they should be hugely disappointed because it was in their hands. I think you look a few years back, Napoli had a chance of winning the title against Juventus. It was such a close race. I think Maurizio Sarri was their coach. It went to the last day and Napoli had to win a crucial game. They lost. Like, all these crucial moments decide whether you are a champion team or whether you are a mediocre team. I'm not saying Napoli is a mediocre team and all, but they have to improve this. And if you can only call yourself a top club if you're consistently qualifying for the Champions League. And Juventus, what a big relief for them. Everywhere it was speculation. Same like with Liverpool in the Premier League. Will they miss out on Champions League? Will they miss out on Champions League? And here also, last day. And you look at their performance in the final day and you think, they do deserve, because they did what they had to do in the final. Like, they had to beat the team and they did it convincingly. And they played without Ronaldo. They just played with the youngsters full surrounding Chiesa, then obviously Morata, Kulusevski. Chiesa and Kulusevski were involved in every single goal, even either in the build-up play or the assist or the two passes, so everything. So it was a great game to watch actually, and so Napoli, next time, please don't do this.
To sum up the league.
Anything else you want to add?
To sum up the league, the top four going to the CL are Inter Milan, AC Milan, Atalanta, Juventus. Napoli and Lazio go to the Europa League, and I don't know who goes to the Conference League. But the teams that are dedicated are Crotone, Benevento, and
Conference League is Roma. Roma.
So yeah, Jose Mourinho is still going to play in Europe.
Okay, yeah, Europe.
Should we talk about La Liga
It's
next, or
actually
should
going
we
to be
talk about?
interesting. All these, some they have decent teams in the Conference League. Some decent teams have gone through. We'll see
Yeah,
how it goes out. We'll see
technically
next
speaking,
season.
Arsenal and Tottenham are not bad teams. They're good teams only. I'm not saying the teams that are going to Conference League are bad, but it should
Yeah,
actually be like the teams that are going to the CL, like go there, and then like Europa League are people who are just unlucky, and Conference League are good teams who are even more unlucky. But it's not like that. It's like people who are
yeah,
somehow fighting and making it to the CL, and then people who are maybe marginally unlucky getting in, or people who are like underperforming are going into the Europa League, and people who are hilariously underperforming are going into the Conference League. It's like that. It's actually not supposed to be like that, but then, yeah. Should we talk about the Liga, or should we talk about La Liga?
La Liga, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
What do you?
La Liga, no, this league, no, I don't understand what is the problem with all the teams in this. Like, it's not like you don't have big players. It's not like you have Barcelona. Obviously, you can understand some messed up board they had. They made all kinds of crappy decisions. It backfired. But the
Yeah,
final day in this, it was high stakes for two reasons. One was to see who would
yeah,
go to Europe in the form of the Europa League,
yeah,
and who would
yeah,
take the title home. Oh my
yeah.
God, such drama, such drama. The Atleti game is going on here. Half of my screen, Atleti game is going on. Half of my screen, Real Madrid game is going on. And I'm seeing, oh, Atleti, oh, they're going back. Oh, they're going back. They're trailing. They're trailing. Then I'm seeing Real Madrid. Real Madrid are also trailing. I'm like, what the hell?
Trailing.
I don't know. I'm like, okay, they're trailing. Then I'm seeing for a little time, Atletico scored. I'm like, wow, Atletico is drawn. Now Real is still trailing. And then I'm like, after some time, I'm seeing Suarez scored. Then Real are still trailing. I'm like, okay, this is not what I expected. Then Real stepped it up, dude. Last 10 minutes, last 5 minutes, they
Oh
scored
my
like
God,
two
yeah.
goals. I'm like, oh, these guys want it. Come on, you can push, you can push, you can push. And then they won the game, but then Atletico thoroughly deserved to win the league this time completely, because they defied all kinds
Yeah,
of odds. Like, I'm not saying no one expected them to win, but they tweaked their team setup. They changed their style of play a little. They made use of the players they had. Obviously, Suarez playing for them made a huge, uh,
yeah. Huge,
made
huge
the thing
impact.
work
It's
in
like,
this thing. But I don't know what I was trying to say there, but I missed it completely.
no, it's almost like all the goals, each of the goals scored by Suarez won them the game,
Yeah,
technically.
all of them were high
Almost all of them
stakes.
were winning goals.
Exactly, all of them were high
Yeah.
stakes, and that is
All
why
of them are
you
high-stake
need
goals.
world-class strikers, which Barcelona obviously miss. And this is poetic justice. This is what happens if you do shameful things to people who are club legends for your own club. And I don't think there's anything else to talk about the La Liga other
Yeah.
than the
I
Atletico and
think
Real
he
Madrid
took a hit
game.
after also. Some people didn't have trust in me. Yeah. Suarez took a hit a little bit maybe at the previous management who had him out.
And
People
deservedly
didn't
so,
trust in
because
me, I think.
he doesn't deserve the disrespect with which he was pushed out. He was literally pushed out of the club, and you could see what
Yeah.
it meant to him. I was watching even after the game finished. I'm like, okay, let's see what is happening. That guy just collapsed on the ground, started crying like they won the CL or something. That is this one thing I wanted to talk
Yeah.
about the Serie A. Juventus, I understand. Yes, you made it into the CL. I know I'm going completely off topic. I think I should talk about it in the off script only. Yeah, let's finish La Liga
Yeah.
only. So it was very interesting because Real Madrid came back with a bang, but they just needed one. You could see Marcelo from the sidelines, Ramos from the sidelines saying, okay, come on, you need one more. They scored, come on, you have to score. And they were trying their level best, but unfortunately it was not Real's year to be, and hopefully they'll do better next time, because I'm not saying it's my favorite club, but as one of our previous videos say, I still think it's one of the greatest clubs of all time. So yeah, let's go over the table to summarize it. Atletico finished first, Real Madrid and
top
Barcelona, and Sevilla go to the CL. Sociedad and Real Betis go to the Europa League.
Yeah.
And
Villarreal in the Conference League.
Villarreal in
Villarreal
the Conference League. Unless it might change tonight.
Unless.
It might change tonight.
Yeah.
If the video comes out when you plan to put it out only. And Huesca,
Yeah.
Valladolid and Eibar are getting relegated. So
Eibar Eibar is relegated. Like it's funny. Like people think like people used to make jokes about Eibar and all. Like the people, the team that everybody smashes, like have fun, score goals and all. But they have been there in La Liga for like some. I think they've never been relegated, if I'm not wrong, since a long time. And
Yeah, they have not been relegated in a long time.
Finally getting relegated.
I'm pretty sure they would have been
Yeah,
relegated at some point.
long time. Like they've been there. Like somehow they survive. Somehow they survive relegation. Finish like they're not a top team, but they survive somewhere in mid table. And finally they bow out of the league. Yeah,
Yeah, this has been the season of teams which
follow.
have been there for a long
Yeah.
time. Finally, getting that with Schalke going down,
Yeah.
Eibar going down. So I think that wraps up our La Liga coverage, and let's move on to the Liga. Jithu, are you taking it or should I take it?
Yeah, take the match because I was watching this game also.
You can talk.
This is by far the closest title race you'll ever see. By far the closest, because only 1 point separated the teams, and it had to go to the last day. And I don't know. I was searching for the coverage of Ligue 1 because it's hard to get the coverage here, and I found the random channel, some French channel which was available there, and I started watching in French commentary. So both, I think. One game I got a link and I was watching in my phone, and one I was in TV. The PSG game I was watching in the TV. So I'm looking at the score, like Lille. What is the score right now? At first it was like okay, 0-0 starting. Then what do you call? PSG started playing what PSG does. They started playing ruthlessly, and even though they had to work a little, I think Brest were defending quite decently, and finally they broke the deadlock. I think own goal. I think if I'm not wrong, Angel Di Maria was taking a corner, and it went through, like it deflected off one of Brest's defenders and went in. And PSG were leading. So towards the end of the game, Kylian Mbappe, I think towards the end of the game, the score at Lille was 2-1. 2-0 actually, and so PSG, I think they realized like it was, I think, beyond their reach. I think they couldn't do anything because, and yeah, Kylian Mbappe, he scored his I think 26th or 27th, if I'm not sure, 40 goal plus season. Him and Haaland, yeah, future talents. So yeah, and he's been the best player this season. No offense to, like, Neymar was also good, but Mbappe was their best player this season. And yeah, the big game, Lille winning since I think 10-11 years, by 2010-11, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, sorry. Yeah, that's back then. They used to had Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard was playing for Lille back then. That's when they last won it, and good props to them. And they just didn't like falling down. Like, you should see this fighting spirit. Like, they didn't want to fall down. They kept on fighting. Okay, obviously they had the draws, but they didn't lose. You can see 23 or 22 clean sheets they kept in the league. I think no other team in the top 5 leagues has that many clean sheets, that much like commitment they had. They were highly organized, and this young crop of talent, many of them were like people said they won't make it. You can say, look at Renato Sanchez. What a great season he's having. Renato Sanchez, people thought like his time is done. Yeah, he used to be a golden boy. He came out to be sort of a flop at Bayern, and people ruled him out. But he stepped up. He did well, and this entire squad has been good. Burak Yilmaz, and the guy I should talk about is in their defense, two people, Jose Fonte and Botman. Like, they were the anchors, and Jose Fonte, what a resurgence he's having. Like, he's sort of like a Jamie Vardy story. Started very late, and he came up to the top late, and what a season he had. And he has been their leader, motivating them throughout the game, and yeah. So I was praying this, please don't bottle this, because Lille, PSG look like they will win their game, and Lille just have to somehow. Even a draw won't help them. They need to win the game. And yeah, obviously Angers were a team like languishing in the bottom. And so hats off to Lille. They played a great game. And I wanted to see this team competing in the Champions League, but unfortunately half the players are leaving. teams have already scouted. The coach has already left. The coach is going for Nice. I don't know for what joy. Nice is finished ninth in the league and he's leaving. Rumors are saying that they're offering him a higher pay cut or something like that. That's why he's leaving. The goalkeeper already AC Milan scouted. All these top players will, and it'll be very sad. And to see them, I think, lose all their major players and playing, it won't be as effective in the CL. And yeah, it's kind of disappointing, but yeah, hats off to them. And all these young players, I hope to see him improving themselves better. Yeah.
Yes.
Over to you, Elijah. Anything you want to add on?
I genuinely wanted Liel to win because it would have been like a beautiful story, beautiful thing that encapsulates football as a whole, because that shows that like any team can win, not only people. Like people say that yeah, money is needed to win, and I accept it. Money is needed to win leagues. Money is needed to play in the CL.
Yeah.
Money is needed to buy good players, pay for managers and teams and their infrastructure and all that stuff. But Liel defied all that. I'm not saying that they were a broke team and all, but they had considerably way less money than PSG. Almost every team on planet Earth has way less money than PSG anyway. So, and they still managed to hold on to win. And I don't mean any disrespect to PSG. They have money. They have money. What are we going to say? So, it was a good game to watch. I only watched the PSG game. I didn't watch the Ligue game. I just watched the highlights because I wanted to see what PSG is doing.
Yeah.
And I should say PSG didn't seem particularly, what should I say, clinical in their finishing. They could have buried the game, but either way, no matter how many goals, they had scored 50 goals, they would have still lost. So all props to Liel for holding on to win. And let's round up the table. Liel and PSG move on to the CL. Monaco, I think, plays for the qualifier.
Actually Monaco also. Monaco will be playing. It's a different in the league on C.
Yeah, so
basically they have two
there.
direct slots for the CL. And like the third place team will play in the playoff stage, like the stage just before the group stage. So Monaco will be going into the playoffs, and if at all they drop out, they'll shift into the Europa League group stage. And Lyon and Marseille will qualify for the Europa League group stage. And yeah, it has been tight, I think. So at first it looked like a 4-team race, and then Lille and PSG went up. And yeah, it was still taking, like Monaco and Lyon, either of them would have qualified like for the Champions League playoff stage, but Lyon losing to Nice, I guess, 3-2, and that ensured, like, even though Monaco were like drew their last game, it ensured that they will be playing in the Champions League playoff.
Yeah, and
so
Lyon, Nantes, and Nimes who are getting. Nantes plays the playoffs for staying in this thing, but the last two teams are, I don't know how to pronounce them. I hope I'm pronouncing them right. Nimes and
Nantes.
And they are moving down to the second division, and I think that rounds up all our leagues for today. But I have something very interesting for our off script. So Jithu, are you game for this?
Sure.
So I wanted to ask, is Brendan Rodgers among the most underrated managers that we have? Because you can say he played in Scotland, like, and he won with Celtic. He played with Liverpool and almost won the Premier League. Then he played with Leicester. I'm not saying, and he's done well. I'm not saying that, and I don't say success obviously means winning, but in Leicester's case and other teams like that, it doesn't fully show the whole picture. So he has been like a good performer. He has made teams look better than they are. And to put that into perspective, people like Kante, Walker, Drinkwater, all these guys come from Leicester, and they keep losing big players like this season after season. I think the only constant player they've had from the title winning season, I think Vardy and maybe a couple of others. And they keep losing players.
Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah, Kasper Schmeichel. Oh yeah, the eternal figure at goal. Yeah. I know the recruitment has been good and all that has been good, but we have to give credit to this manager, because no matter what you take away from the team, he somehow finds a way to finish in the top 6. I know that I just criticize them for bottling it and all, but yeah, some teams are just like better in quality, and like if you have experience in your team, yes, you will be able to maintain the concentration levels. You'll not fatigue that easily. And the Leicester team, they generally get people from outside, or they come from the youth, or they scout younger players from outside. So they don't have that much experience. So it's understandable that the concentration levels and all drop. But Brendan Rodgers has been such a good coach throughout the years. Like I was saying, Scotland he won. England, when he joined with Liverpool, he was almost winning, and like things like that. And we don't usually give credit to people like that. So what do you say?
Yeah, so he's definitely been up there. Like, if you look at the last 10 years, I mean, English managers are not that famous. I don't know why it is. So, there are two sides to it. Maybe the English managers' side say that they just like English managers are not just that attractive. Like, I think some manager told, like, his name is some Robert Martin or something. So he told, if my name was Roberto Martinez or something, you would have seen a flurry of clubs coming to get me. So it's like, I think they lost, like, they're not that beautiful or something like sort of. So that's why almost all these top sides always choose foreign managers, and yeah. And Brendan Rodgers was sort of a victim of that, and his work has been brilliant. I think he's like, as you said, he almost guided what you call Liverpool to the Premier League title. And yeah, I think I don't need to explain further about. I think most of you will know about it. So, and first time, I think Leicester's first ever FA Cup, and it's been great season. And I think he is up there as one of the best English managers in the last 10 decades. I'm telling English, not British managers. Please don't come into the comments and say Alex Ferguson dash dash. And Alex Ferguson is not an English manager. Please, he's you can say British manager. I'm talking exclusively English managers, and he's up there. And I don't think any English manager has won a league title in the last 10 years. And I don't think any FA Cup, I think it's since long time since an English manager won the FA Cup. So that pretty much sums up how good this guy has been. And what you call, kudos to the club that gave him the opportunity. And yeah, I think he's proving himself, and I hope he can build up on this and win more titles. Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to talk about was I was deviating in the La Liga, if you remember. Juventus, after the game finished, they were celebrating like they won the treble or some crap. Dude, what the hell? For a team of such superstars, you should not be celebrating crap like that. If let's just assume, let's say Chelsea or Liverpool, just because they made fourth, they were celebrating like that. Last year, because I think Villa stayed up, or not Villa, maybe Burnley or someone stayed up, they were celebrating and everyone was criticizing them. Juventus, they barely scraped in to make it to the UCL spots. I don't understand how that warrants. It's like I think some of the players were also saying like, oh, you underestimated us, we did this, we did that. You just made it to the seal. It's not like you won it also. Like, what is this drama? Like,
yeah, it was just it was lucky. Like, you could have gone out. They could have gone out. What if Napoli find a last minute winner and they'll be celebrating there? It would have been like the most disaster. I think just be fortunate like that you're still in the Champions League, and
we don't share memes on our Instagram page. Otherwise, no, we would have trolled the hell out of Juventus that day. I'm not saying I hate Juventus, but that celebration, no, it was such a, I don't know, I can't call it a disgrace, and I'm not Gary Neville and all, but still, but it didn't do justice to the way they were celebrating. It's like they literally won the treble or something. They were shouting, they were taking off their clothes and dancing, they were cutting cakes and all. I'm like, okay. It's not like they had a major injury crisis also. They were just underperforming. And for an underperforming team to celebrate like that.
No, it reminds me of a certain PSG team that celebrated after winning the quarter final. I mean, you won by away goals and they thought like they won the Champions League. And yeah, they celebrated overly, and next game, I think City brought them back to reality. And yeah, I think that pretty much sums up. So don't celebrate early. It's even if you look at some top teams, you see, even if they make it, unless and until if they are the first time, okay, you are a team that got promoted for the first time and you manage to stay, just avoid relegation. Okay, then you can be happy, yeah, because it's your first time and you are financially much weaker than many of the teams in the league and you stayed in. That's okay, you can celebrate that. If you're a team that had made to the UCL or UL for the first time or a first time in a long time, you can celebrate. But if you are a team in which your minimum requirement is to qualify yourselves for Champions League and you haven't achieved your goals and you're celebrating like this, it doesn't make sense. You first of all, you qualified because you were lucky, and I'm not saying they didn't play. You were lucky because Napoli, that game could have gone anywhere. It was still 1-1 till the last minute. And you should be fortunate, you should be thinking forward and move on, not celebrating. Because next season is going to be even tougher because all these teams will come even more stronger. And if you play like this, you might not even finish in the top four. So, yeah.
It would have been okay if it was the fans who were celebrating. Yes, fans, obviously, they will celebrate and all that. But the players, there are players who have done far greater things than this. There are people like Ronaldo and all in the dressing room. And I'm not saying I'm not blaming Ronaldo here, or I'm not picking out a certain player, but that whole group of players, like, I didn't warrant that, and I don't think we should dwell on it any further. And anyway, this whole off script is going to be a separate episode in itself, and I think we should talk about the CL and the UEL. So since the UEL final is today, Jithu, your predictions, please.
Yeah, okay. So obviously Manchester United are the favourites, and they are definitely the favourites, and 70% of chance I give it to them to win. That is if they don't get VRL let into their heads. So what they did with Arsenal, they can do to any team. So VRL are a team that can slow down the game to an insane level. Like they can bring it to their own tempo.
They will play like team that whatever game it is La Liga. They will play like that. So they should be very careful.
Yeah, they'll get into your heads. That's what they do. So they should not let them do that. Like United are a team that they play fast football, like counter-attacking, fast-paced football. They have very good runners. They run very fast, and that's how they play. And on the other hand, VRL have the complete opposite. I mean, they play sort of possession based, but they slow the game down. So if the game is slowed down, it will be getting into the heads of United players, and then they will have a chance. And then slowly, after if it's 0-0 for a long time, then the confidence will start to drop. Like they'll get frustration will come. So they should not allow that to happen. Get their chances, finish their chances off as fast, get a lead early in the game. If they manage to get a lead early in the game, at least one goal in the first half, I think United can finish off the game. But if not, then VRL is a dangerous team and they'll come back. So my pick is United to win because the gap in quality of individual players is actually high. But then, VRL just played Arsenal and came, so anything is possible.
Yeah, I would completely agree with Jithu on every single topic that he said, but they should be a little cautious about Villarreal, because Villarreal are not that team that plays fast like he said, as they don't play like very attractive football and all, but they play very functional football, and like he said, it's mostly possession based. So if United can get that early goal and then sit back and again try and finish off whatever chances fall in their way, then it should be a fairly easy game. But if Villarreal manage to keep the position with themselves, they will somehow find a way, and that is what should concern United. Other than that, I think it's a pretty simple game for them. I'm not saying Villarreal is a walkover team, because again, like I said,
one player is. I think United will miss Maguire, if I'm not wrong, as of now.
Yeah, Maguire has been missing since the start of the month.
Sometimes, like if it's possible, our video will come tonight itself. Otherwise, it might come tomorrow. So by then, the actual result might come. So don't mind us. If it comes earlier, then yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anything else you want to add on?
Yeah, I think that's about it, and we should talk about the UCL final, the impending UCL final. Do you want to do a separate episode about the UCL final only, or we'll just talk about it now and finish it off?
Yeah, you can just talk it now itself, I think.
And then go talk about the UCL final.
Yes. So yeah, UCL final. So on paper, I'd say Man City are the better team on paper, and on recent form also, I think they are the better team. No offense, nothing is there. I think Chelsea, they've not been able to win. I think last 3 or 4 games they lost 2-3 games out of the last 4 games, and that's not a good thing. They're heading into the Champions League final and big games like obviously they won at Leicester. I think last week I think losing to Aston Villa, and I know Chelsea fans are still finding hard to digest that Bale, a Tottenham player, had to help them out in winning. So that's not a good thing. Then I mean, I'm not saying it's just luck. I think you played your part, but moving into a big game like this and playing like this, it's not enough. Especially since City, they showed they're not backing down, and they are on a high right now, and they are winning games consecutively in convincing way. And yeah, so they have to be careful. And Timo Werner, if you want to step up, this is the game for you to step up. If you score in this game, people will forget whatever you did. But if you miss in this game, that will be a bad what you call rubber stamp in your
he will
resume,
be
your
immortalized
career,
for the rest of his career.
Of your career.
And for the rest of football's existence, I guess. Yeah, so I completely agree with Jithu. I think this is finally Man City's year. Finally Pep's year to finish another treble. So, and they seem to be in good form. Most of their players, if not all of their players, are in top condition. They are beating other teams pretty convincingly. But then again, Chelsea are never a side that should be taken lightly, no matter who their manager is, no matter what players they have. And especially with a coach like Tuchel and people like Pulisic and Havertz and Mount and
they definitely have the quality. I mean,
James, like you can start naming players and just keep going on.
Yeah. No, the first Champions League they won, like nobody expected them to win. Yeah, they was playing Bayern. Bayern were the favorites. Bayern they beat Real Madrid. During the 2011-12 season, they were the favorites because that's that Jose Mourinho team. I think that scored 100 points in the La Liga. Brutal teams. Lot of attacking. Like the front three was lethal. You had Di Maria, Ronaldo in front, and yeah. So Bayern beat them and made it to the final. So, but Chelsea were having a bad season comparatively. They were not anywhere near the top four, and this was the best chance of qualifying to the next year's Champions League. But they somehow went through. They reached the final, and Bayern were the favorites. And rest is history. You all know what happened. Didier Drogba and the penalty shootout, Schweinsteiger missing, Iron Robin missing, and yeah, they did it. So that might also, I'm not saying that might happen, but there's a chance, maybe. But still, you have to have the heart. That team had the heart. I think they were not in the best of their forms, but they still showed their heart, the intent to win. And this team has to show that, something which they have not been showing in the last few games. Yeah,
so everything that Jithu said.
So, what are your players to watch out for anything?
In the CL final or the UEL final?
In the CL final, yeah.
CL final, I think you should be keeping your eye on people like De Bruyne, Mount, Havertz, and I think the key difference will be not only with the people who are creating the chances, but the people who are finishing. Because on both sides, Aguero is now only like fit and he's not played for most of the season, and their backup is Gabriel Jesus. So, I'm not saying that Jesus is a bad player, but he's definitely not like the best in the world and all.
Not Aguero.
Especially in matches that require such great concentration and such great skill. So, and on the other hand, you have Timo Werner over there. So, I don't know. It's going to rest on Timo Werner and whoever is starting for City, which I most likely think will be Aguero because that's going to be like his final game for the club ever. So I think the players to be watch out for will obviously be Mason Mount, Havertz, De Bruyne, if Aguero plays Aguero, and who else? Yeah, Timo Werner obviously. And I think the defense that Chelsea has is a bit shaky. I'm not saying that they have been bad, especially in the last few games. They have been pretty solid.
Last few games,
but I still think compared to the Man City side, they're a bit more shaky. And Man City attack relentlessly. Nothing to take away from Chelsea also, because they also play very high intensity attacking football. But I still think City have an edge going in. Just that Pep should not overthink it. That's all. If he manages to keep his mind stable and executes his plan perfectly and his players follow his plan to the dot, I'm pretty sure Man City will end up on the winning side. But then again, Chelsea have the mad genius, as I call him, Tuchel. And yeah, you never know what Tuchel can do. He's a German genius. So, yeah.
This is Pep's, I think, best and maybe his, don't know, I'm not saying his last chance, but his best chance with City to win it. And it'll be a moment of history. If City win it, they're winning 3 trophies. They're winning sort of a treble, even though it's not, FA Cup is not the League Cup, but it is a treble. So that's a big, big achievement, and no club has done that since 1999, and they'll be just the second English Cup to do that. So big thing, and they have to remain focused. And for me, the clear battle, I think, will be in the midfield. I'm not telling all these, everyone will be influenced, including the goalkeeper. And I think Kepa is starting for Chelsea. Mendy is injured, so yeah. Okay, so I'll see the battle will be between sort of N'Golo Kante and Phil Foden. So that will be an interesting thing to watch. Phil Foden will be in the attacking mid position if he's starting, and Kante will be in defending. So they will be playing against each other. They will be, and Foden, I think, has admitted that Kante is one of the most difficult opponents he's ever faced, because he'll be like, I don't know, I saw this video, like they're taking an interview and he's just told, like, he'll be just sticking onto you. He's everywhere. You look, one side will be there, this side will be there, will be just sticking onto you. So that will be interesting.
So amazing. You will see him everywhere on the field, running, defending. He'll try to create chances. He'll clear the ball. He'll tackle you. He'll dribble past you. Everything other than goalkeeping he'll do on the field. Literally everything. So it's invaluable to have a player like that. But yeah, Kante is going to be very important. But Phil Foden, the thing is, it's a high pressure game. I'm not saying that he's going to bottle it up in high pressure game, but this is like the highest of the high. This is almost, I'm not comparing it to a World Cup final, but it's almost as big as that, because City don't get such a good chance. This comes
second to a World Cup final.
Yeah, City won't get such a good chance again. And on the flip side, Chelsea won't get such a good chance again, because in the beginning of the season, nobody thought they'll make it to the CL final, and then Tuchel came in and the fortunes turned
around. Yes, definitely.
Made that push, and they're now in the final. So this will be a good way to silence every single critic they have. They'll be like, shut up, we won the title. So that'll be like a statement that they'll be wishing that they can make. So both of them will be going all out, but I still think it's City.
Yeah, so I hope we get an entertaining UCL final. We haven't got that in the last
definitely.
2 years.
As long as it's not like the second leg between PSG and City, I'm okay with anything. That was a horrible game to watch. Oh my God. Anything else, Jithu?
Last 2 finals, it was like, it was not entertaining. Like, you look last game, I think there were no goals. Like, you need goals, sort of something, some action drama, I think. And before that also, I think Tottenham didn't play the level they played against in the semi-final when they played Liverpool in the final, and Liverpool beat them convincingly. So I think it was, let's hope of something more of fiery end-to-end stuff, lot of drama, and that's what makes the Champions League special.
Okay, I think that brings an end to everything that we have planned. Jithu, you have anything to say?
No, I think that's all. I think so. I think we'll be discussing the Euros and Copa Americas in the coming weeks.
We'll also be covering any transfers that go ahead in a separate episode. We are going to call Transfer Talk or something. We'll come up with a name for that. So that will be exclusively for talking about transfers and how they might affect the market and the team. So that's a different thing, and we're still working on that scripted episodes thing that we're talking about the competition. So stay tuned. More content coming your way. We're trying to make Instagram more, engaging for everyone. So please try to follow us there and like our posts or whatever. And if there's anything else that we should cover on, please leave a comment here or message us or comment on Instagram, whatever. Just make sure that you tell us what you want so that we can cover it. Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.
Remember back when I was